Manchester City march on. Another victory, another clean sheet, 6 on the bounce. And John Stones was a key part of that, and he's waiting to speak to us now from Wembley. Congratulations, John. Thanks for speaking to us. How satisfying was that performance and result?
Yeah, really satisfying with the conditions of the pitch, top quality side we were up against tonight, and we knew it was going to be a difficult match. Never easy coming to Wembley or playing against Spurs, where, you know, wherever they are. But yeah, really thrilled to get over the line with 3 points and another clean sheet. Talk us through the pitch then, John. I found out quite late that they were having an NFL match on it. Obviously, it's out of Spurs' hands, and obviously the Wembley were holding the occasion, so you know we had to just get on with it, and we saw it kind of as a positive. Didn't try and put any negative spin on it for us and making excuses. It's the same for both teams, and we just tried to play our football as we could. I think from my perspective from the game, it was had to adapt a little bit and maybe not play too many risky balls or make decisions differently in certain areas and play maybe longer or be a bit more safe. And you know, in the end, it worked out well, and we got the 3 points. So that's the main thing. Was that something that the manager actually spoke to you about before the game, and in fact all of the back four? Don't hang on to it. Yeah, not to hang on to it. You want us to play as we do as always, but I think you've got to take matters into your own hands sometimes and know what kind of situations you're in. And today the ball was bouncing, and we knew that it wasn't right to try and bring it down and play through the middle, because Tottenham pressed high and they regained the second balls quite well. So we knew that we had to go that extra line and maybe play to the strikers and try and feed off things like that. And you know, that's the conditions that we can come up against. It can be sometimes maybe snowing, or I'm not going to say heat. It's never sunny in England, but yeah, the pitch was one of those things tonight, and we just had to deal with it.
John, you and Neville and Laporte had to be patient last year, watching Nicholas Otamendi and Vincent Kompany quite a lot during the season. You've played in all the big games this season, and that's now only one goal you've conceded in 5 matches. Do you feel now that the coach is giving you both your heads and showing that belief in you as a pair? Yeah, definitely. I think we've got to take our chances when we're on the pitch as well. There's that many games. We all know that we're going to play a big part in what time we get out on the field. So from my point of view as well, keeping the clean sheets, I feel like I've matured, and obviously another season behind me from last season. So yeah, it's great to be making these partnerships with Aymeric and whoever we play with. There's a lot of rotation in the squad, and you know, we've just got to make sure that we give it everything while we're on the pitch and repay the faith to the manager. You've played against Harry Kane tonight, who's obviously a teammate of yours with England and one of the great Premier League strikers. He's only had 1 touch in the box. What were you talking about before the game in terms of how to deal with him? And obviously it went really well.
Well, we know Harry's very clinical, so we had to stop him as high up the pitch as we could. We know he made a lot of great runs in behind, and it's never easy when you give a striker a yard and he gets a shot off. It happened in the first half where Lamella's coming off the line and played Harry in. Thought he's making a run in behind, and he's got a shot off and it's gone over the bar. And you know, the great strikers do that, but I thought tonight how we defended and how we kept him to very minimal chances and regained the ball off him and set the lads on counter attacks was something that we worked on in training, and I hope we executed it well tonight.
John, you've played different positions this season. I think you went into midfield tonight. Towards the end of the game, you've played at right full-back as well. So every game you play is not at centre-back. So when you get that opportunity, do you feel you sort of have to put in a big performance, considering what you've got on the bench in Otamendi and Kompany?
No, I think the manager knows my qualities and what I bring to the team, and I played obviously right back, as you said, and dropped into centre midfield today. And you know, if the manager wants me to play there, I'll give it my best and do it for the team, because we had some injuries. So, you know, it's quite an easy slot to fill into, with the respect of We train hard, and we all know each other's roles and responsibilities. So for me to slot into that right back position or even into centre midfield, I know where to be and where to kind of show my qualities, which are different to obviously Kyle and Fernandinho, who usually plays there. So, you know, it's about me taking my opportunity and obviously trying to grow in those positions as well. It's another string to my bow if I can play them, and it gives the manager another outlet as well.
A final thought, John, on the manager. He joined us in the studio at the end of last season talking about the 100 points, and he told us that this season the players were not going to like him because he was going to have to get bigger performances out of you, and it was going to be harder because of the success that you've had. Has he changed towards you at all?
No, definitely not. His motivation, his desire, and you know, his whole work ethic towards us, and he's definitely not changed. I think it's probably another benchmark that he wants to get to is making getting the Premier League again and progressing in the Champions League more than we did last season. And you know, I think he's always striving for bigger and better things and wanting more from us as players. And I think that's why he's been so successful as a manager over his career. And I'm sure you guys can see from the first season that he came to how he's developed me as a player, everyone in the dressing room. And I think it's just about pushing us every day and us keeping those high standards and seeing where it can take us.
Great result tonight. John, thanks so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
You mentioned Laporte. Are he and Laporte now the #1 partnership, would we say?
Yeah, I'd say so. They play in the biggest games. You see the results there when they've played together. I mean, you go back to the first one, end of last season. I think it was the last game of the season, where they got the 100 points, a last-minute goal, I think, to win. But you look at the big games: Arsenal away, Liverpool away, Tottenham away. You think of those games, not just for Man City, when we've been players and big players in games. I always felt, I was a centre-back, I always felt I had to perform in those games. Your attackers are for the games at home. They go and win the game. When you're at home, you make sure just everything's okay. But away from home, you feel like you're going to be under pressure. And as a manager, you pick your best pair. And at this moment, I don't think it's going to change really, but the performances we've seen from those two players this season is outstanding. I think the big thing with Laporte is a manager like Guardiola, you think of the Barcelona influence, maybe a Dutch influence. For them, having a left-footed centre-back is paramount. You even go back to sort of Louis van Gaal at Man United. Remember, he had sort of Daley Blind in that position. He was probably not a great defender or what you'd think as a centre-back. But those type of coaches think that is as important as the defensive side of it. Actually, someone who can get on the ball, use his left foot and actually maybe pass a ball out to the winger, move the ball on quickly. So I think he's been a massive signing Laporte in the January window.
He doesn't do conventional, does he, Pep Guardiola? Because you would normally think that your experienced pair would be the ones that you'd play in the big games, and the younger pair you'd play in sort of what would be the easier games at home against.
Because these two are both 24. I'm told that's the youngest regular pair in the Premier League this season. Yeah,
and he's bringing them into a successful team, but you would normally think, maybe he's giving them the heads now. He's saying to them, no, this is your moment, you're going to step in. But you would normally think that he'd play them sort of in the games that were sort of less important and bleed them in that way and sort of give them the sort of grounding in the games that you think are more comfortable at home. He doesn't do. He puts them in the games like Tottenham away, Liverpool away, which I have to say that day when I saw them being picked at Liverpool away, which obviously last season City had big problems against that team, I thought, it's a massive test to play against that Liverpool. It's a massive test for any back four to play against that Liverpool front three. And they came through it. And Arsenal away is always a challenge as well because they attack well. So he's doing it in the unconventional way. So Laporte plays. He's played every minute in the Premier League so far this season. And it has been Kompany, it has been Otamendi, it has been Stones. But why then has Stones got ahead of those other two? I mean, it's not a reflection upon Vincent Kompany. It's just maybe he thinks this is my pair of the future and now's the time to see them. I have to say, Neville Laporte is a fantastic player. He's a brilliant player. I actually saw him in Spain 3 times live when I was over there. We played against Bilbao 3 times and he just stood out an absolute mile. He was only 21, 22 at the time. He's got absolutely everything. Everything. You talk about Van Dijk, obviously, in terms of Liverpool, he's a bit more mature, but you can imagine that he's going to be a cornerstone of that City defence for the next 4, 5, 6 years. And then you see John Stones next to him. What John Stones needs is a dominant partner. He does, because the way he plays the game, he gets on the ball. Obviously, he's getting more responsible. So if they can keep that pair together now for, I mean, 24 each, 3, 4 years, that does bode well for them.